And joining us now from St. Louis is Dana Loesch, a radio talk show host and blogger who is also an early and enthusiastic supporter of the Tea Party movement. Dana, good morning.
Good morning to you.
For our viewers who may not be familiar, I'm going to describe something that was written about you, a sweet Midwest goth version of Laura Ingraham. Is that accurate?
I would guess so.
Okay.
I'm probably a little bit more rock and roll, I guess, than the regular conservative stereotype.
Well, welcome to the broadcast. Let me start with this. Let's talk about Alaska for a couple of seconds. This Joe Miller versus the Palins. Is this so much noise, or is this actually a fissure between a Tea Party candidate and the first family of the Tea Party?
I think it's just something typical that you would see in any political cycle. And I think it was kind of an odd question that was posed to Joe Miller because it's so incredibly early to start talking about 2012 candidates. It's early, but at the same time, it's not early to start speculating. Joe Miller, I think, was put into a difficult position because he was asked to essentially endorse a candidate that has not actually declared. So it was a little bit of a weird place for him to be in. But I think his answer was fine. And I think, and Sarah Palin, she did come out and she endorsed him. People know Joe Miller because she did come out and help put him on the map. Yeah,
it's not exactly positive feedback, but look, I want to move on because this poll is so interesting because you find that while people are certainly aware of the Tea Party, the vast middle in America is not exactly running toward it. They certainly seem to be moving away from the president, but they're not running toward the Tea Party. They're still sitting on the fence. Why do you think that is?
I'm not quite sure. I've been watching a lot of polling data from the past year, especially focusing on independents and moderates, and they're definitely trending towards the right. And there's several indicators that I've been looking at, especially with the special elections that took place in Virginia and in New Jersey. Virginia was a bellwether state. Now, if you remember when Barack Obama took Virginia in the general election, David Axelrod himself called that state a bellwether state. It went blue.
Right.
But then in the last election, the special election, it went incredibly red, and that was because of all of the independents, these same people who are really, these people are going to be deciding midterms, and these are the people who are trending GOP. These are the exact same people who, in a Rasmussen poll, said that they more identify with the grassroots movement than they do with the Democrat congressional agenda. So they are definitely the voting bloc at play here.
Well, the middle is definitely fickle. Last but not least, the thing I really want to focus in on is the Tea Party has had such a dramatic effect on these primaries. As it holds as much power as it does now, does the larger party, does the Republican Party as an entity, does it get what it's dealing with here?
I think it does now. In the beginning, it was a weird sort of adversarial dance that we watched between the grassroots movement and the Republican Party. And I think a lot of people in the GOP have come around. I think Newt Gingrich came around because everyone remembers New York 23 with Doug Hoffman and Dede Scozzafava. That wasn't a battle of Democrats versus Republicans. That was a battle of grassroots versus Republican establishment. And we all remember that the Republican establishment did not win that particular race. I think after that, I think looking at Massachusetts, what we had were a series of flukes. We had Christine O'Donnell in Delaware, Sharon Angle winning the primary in Nevada, Joe Miller in Alaska, we had Scott Brown in Massachusetts, we had Virginia and New Jersey. After a while, these flukes add up to become a trend. And so now I think the GOP realizes what it's dealing with, and it realizes also that it needs to get back to its base.
Dana, we will be watching with interest in the weeks to come. Thanks very much for being on the broadcast.
Thanks for having me.
All right.